Are you looking for a fresh cut in Westerly? Step into Rio's Barber Shop in Granite Plaza. Whether it's a classic trim or a trendy new look, we've got you covered. Experience the perfect cut for every age and style in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. At Rio's, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Visit Rio's Barber Shop in the Granite Plaza in Westerly or give us a call to schedule your appointment at 401-315-2208. Your style, our craft, Rio's Barber Shop.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Friday afternoon, and you know what that means. It's time for the lunch bunch. And today's lunch bunch actually was supposed to be at 1 o'clock with Jay from XC Media Design. Jay, you owe me one, man. You were supposed to be here. You know it. I know it. We were going to get Cinder, and we had a whole plan. So next week, Jay from XC Media Design will be on the show. Instead, today's lunch was brought to you by Pizza Place, as it was last time we did this show, because it's downstairs and it's delicious.
Nice.
That being said, I want to introduce today's guest. I'm sure many of you know him in town. He's definitely been a fixture here probably his entire life. And as has his family.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Paul Gencarella Jr. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the warm welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to fill the role that Jay missed, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, we had a plan to have you in studio today as well. Sure. But the lunch bunch 1 o'clock thing. So instead, we're going to do this live show with you. So I'm really excited about that. Tell me a little bit about, what you're doing, what you're up to these days.
For sure. I was, for the first, 25 years of my career, right out of college, I was an insurance guy, worked in a local insurance agency. And that came to an end in 2019. And I got into the online affiliate marketing business and things. And it wasn't a passion of mine, but it led me to where I am now, which is essentially the mindset, self-improvement, the achievement industry, if you will.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
I am remarkably familiar with self-help, self-improvement. That whole genre is, that's all over my YouTube, my TikTok, my Instagram, not so much my Facebook, but everything else. Yeah. No, yes, absolutely.
Which for our listeners, it's important to invest, in our finances and in our families and our careers. Investment's very, very important, but investing in ourselves, do we really do that on a conscious basis, where we're trying to better ourselves, our thinking, our results? And initially, when I got into the industry, Ben, it was kind of overwhelming because there was a lot of material to understand, to know, and really to figure out, in the sense that, what do you mean I can truly get anything that I want? It sounds so cliche, but once you start devising and dissecting your mindset, you truly can. And in an example, a professional athlete, say a Tom Brady, he's a 6th-round draft pick. He's not going to make the team, let alone be a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
But his mindset was different.
It was.
And you could say the same thing for Henry Ford building the automobile, the Wright brothers. Those guys were despised by a lot of people because nothing heavier than air is going to fly. It's just impossible. So what are you guys trying to do? Their father, who was, a Methodist minister, really thought they were going to hell, so to speak, because they were demonic, he felt, and look at where they are now. But again, even the critics and the advances that they've made, the Wright brothers, they flew their first flight for 13 seconds. They were ecstatic. But the critics were like, they only flew for 13 seconds, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the way you perceive things and how you look at things,
right.
So it truly is uh, interesting to me to know that anyone that I'm talking to can get whatever they want if they desire it. That's the
Yes.
key factor, Ben.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the key factor, is that they have to want to be better and get better. It's not a magic pill. No one's going to carry you up the mountain, so to speak.
Right.
And that's where I had to kind of, work myself around and to understand that, yeah, this is gonna happen if I say and believe and trust it's gonna happen, as far as success and stuff.
The Wright brothers story reminds me of the famous Theodore Roosevelt quote.
He's got a lot of them.
Yeah, but it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who, and it goes on, but
yeah, no, right. But and again, that could be mumbo jumbo to some people,
right.
But once you start dissecting that quote and that material, you start understanding that, okay, it makes perfect sense. It's funny because I say funny as an ironic, Ben.
Yep.
I was watching a YouTube video of one of my mentors, Bob Proctor, who passed away in February of 2022. But he was just a great repeater of what he learned. And he was quoting a book by Price Pritchard, and it was called U Squared. And the point of that is you could double yourself. You could double whatever you're doing, your output, you know what I mean? You could square it.
Yep.
And he said, how many in the audience here believe that if you tried a little bit harder, you could do a little better, and everybody for the most part raised their hands. And he's like, yeah, I used to think that way. But let me tell you this story. He's sitting in an inn in New Hampshire, and he's just relaxing on the chair, and he sees a fly banging against the window, trying to get out, of the window pane, through the window pane. And he keeps trying harder and harder and harder. And 10 feet away, maybe a second and a half of flying time, is his freedom. So how many of us do the same thing? And Jim Rohn, another guru, if you will, said it best. He's like, most poor people are not poor because they don't work hard. They don't think hard, and then that's the point. You know what I mean? You need to think smarter and think better. You know what I mean? It's not working hard, but it's thinking is the key. And it all starts with a thought.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am a believer that that mindset is a massive contributing factor to our, both mindset and the actions that you take because of that mindset, right? Like, I've heard it said that you can't think yourself into better actions, but you can act yourself into better thinking, right? So it's not just and when people talk about this stuff, they often talk about like manifestation and the secret and vision boards and stuff as if it's like just think about it and it will come into your life.
Right.
But that's not it's
that's a piece of it. That's a piece.
Yeah. No, and having the right mindset and having all of that stuff is important. But if you're not putting in the work to do whatever it is that you want to do, then nothing's going to come of it, right? Like, right. So the
you're so true.
And that's the and whether you're whatever like area you land on in this stuff, it all basically says the same thing, because even if you're talking about like, Christianity and scripture and stuff, right? Like, it's like a guy standing in I don't remember I don't know if it was a proverb or whatever, but I don't remember the exact thing that I'm saying right now. But like the guy in a storm who says, no, God's going to save
Oh,
me.
right,
And a
right.
boat comes.
Right.
And he goes,
Raft,
no,
a boat, and
yeah, the raft comes, and he goes, no, I'm good. The boat's the God's going to save me. Then a boat comes, and he goes, no, I'm good. God's going to save me. And then finally he dies and goes and meets God, and God's like, I sent you a raft, I sent you a boat.
Right.
What did you
yeah,
didn't
what
do
you
anything.
expect? What you
know?
expect?
So
right.
that's whether you're talking about The Secret or manifestation
Mhm.
or whatever it is, and you're, what you're saying is like, thoughts become things. That's true.
Mhm.
But if you don't act on those thoughts, you're not going to
Amen.
have them for very long either.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and that's just a sign from having a conversation with you right now, Ben. Is you've lived it, you know it. You know what I mean? Not everything, but you know enough about this material that it can get you where you want to go. And it starts with the thought. Then that thought goes to a feeling, and that feeling leads to an action, and that action produces a result. Whereas if we try to change our behavior, and we change our behavior and we get the action and then the result that we want, it's short-lived because it's not embedded in our minds. That's the key. And you see that with people exercising, trying to live healthier, relationships, whatever it may be. And you need to really become emotionalized with what you want. So that goes to the feeling, and then you have to act on it. Because how many people that we know that with PhDs and degrees that are not really that successful or dead broke in a certain respect? It's the case. And on the flip side, the guy that's not that bright is making millions of dollars.
Right. And also how many people do you know that, because it's not just about prosperity and what that means. Like, how many people do you know or have you ever heard of that have millions of dollars in the bank and are miserable? That's success is not a thing that is success is variable. It's not a thing with a static definition.
No.
It's something that we all have to define for ourselves. And if you can make $50,000 a year, coach your kids' little league team, and be the happiest person in the world.
Right.
You can make $10 million a year, get divorced, not see your kids, not ever have kids, never have time for your, I was talking to somebody today who was making a tough decision of work-life balance between their family and a dream of theirs. And what's worth it for you is completely up to you.
Correct.
And it's not up to anybody else.
There's going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be whatever you want. Even if you're going to go towards poverty, there's going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're going to be sacrificing something.
And a mentor of mine used to say, that
Is that Glenn?
Yeah.
I know Glenn.
So he used to say that work-life balance or balance in general. Balance is not a scale. Balance is a pendulum.
Absolutely.
It's not.
That's a universal law. You know what I mean? Of rhythm. It's good.
Yeah. So it's not like, this is how much weight I've been spending on work, so I need to spend this much weight on family. Like it's not going to even out, right? Like sometimes you're going to be spending more time because a family member is sick and something's happening, and you're going to put work on the back burner for a while. And sometimes you really need to do something over here, and you're going to miss a couple things. Now, what you miss is completely up to you most of the time, hopefully. But it's not, don't expect yourself to be perfect all the time.
Right. And that's very insightful of you, because that's exactly, what happens. Life gets in the way, they say, know, and it's how we respond or how we react. I tend to be, unfortunately, a little reactive sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm knee jerk, say the thing right away. And sometimes you need to take a step back, evaluate, think about it, and then respond.
Yes.
And that ties into what I wanted to talk about next, Ben, which is attitude. attitude plays such a bigger part than people realize, because the energy that you're sending out in a bad attitude, not only to yourself, but to the world, is talking about manifest, will come back to you in some form. You know what I mean? It may not be a direct form, but it's going to come back to you. So if you put out genuine positivity, love, peace, that's a wonderful thing, you know, and it's only going to work that much better for you, so to speak.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Um, so you got into this 2019, you take a step back from insurance, which is ironic because I've been making insurance content literally all day since like 5 a.m. today, for one of our clients. But so that's ironic. But so you take a step back from insurance in 2019,
Yeah.
and you find your way into this. What does that look like today? What are you doing now?
Yeah.
Working with clients, you have several different projects that you're doing. I know you've got the public access thing going that you're
Right.
starting up. Like,
Right.
what are some things that what are you doing now?
Yeah. And let me just be a little transparent.
Sure.
As well. You know, you mentioned in 2019, I took a step back from insurance. I was fired. And to kind of clarify that, I was with John Conti for a number of years, and it came time to buy the business. The price that he wanted wasn't something that I was willing to pay, and I didn't want to be, you know, upside down, so to speak, for a number of years, which is you have to do that. So I said, well, the next best option that we agreed to was to merge. Well, as we merged with another bigger agency, I got so excited and so passionate, but I got tunnel vision, and I just started focusing on just selling insurance and and not that I neglected my family or anything, but I got myself mentally to a point where I found myself living in 2018 in a psychiatric institution. I was hospitalized for about 10 days, and I was diagnosed with a mental illness, with bipolar, which the diagnosis in and of itself, you know, was enough to send me or keep me in that psychiatric ward,
Right.
you know, but I struggled with it, and I struggled with clinical depression that summer of 2018. And I finally started bouncing my way out of it because I said, I want to get back to the way things were. Well, you know what, Ben? I got back to the way things were. I was in a psychiatric hospital again in 2019 for about 7 or 8 days. So I was getting better. I wasn't 10 days. I was 7
Okay.
days.
Yeah.
So what had happened at that point was I then had to I went and took a medical procedure called ECT. It's like a brain shock, you know, to kind of snap your brain waves into, and it worked for me. It didn't, you know, it wasn't immediate where I was like, you know, going to gangbusters, but I gradually got out of there. And come 2020, I started getting into personal development, my affiliate marketing business. And then 2021 is when I took off into the industry. So now to fast forward to your question is, where am I today? Well, my mentor saying to me, listen, it's great. You're doing well online. You're having Zoom calls. You're doing the one-on-ones. But Paul, in your insurance industry in days, you were part of the community. You knew everybody. Get back out there. So I said, okay, you know, I mean, I'll join, you know, I officially joined the Chamber of Commerce under my business. And I, every month for February, March, and April, I had a chamber clinic. And the clinic is a place you go to get better, whether it's sporting or a medical clinic. So I hosted one the first month, and it was successful. Yesterday was my next one, and I spoke to 15 people, but nobody was there. No one was able to make it. But my mentor said to me, that doesn't matter. Make the presentation anyway. Most people would say, all right, no one showed up for this because it's 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever, they couldn't make it. I'm going home, going to do something else. I did the presentation still. And it was, as I left the building, I felt good. I really did then. I felt good that it was a great presentation. And we've also, you know, I guess segued, if you will, into a cable channel network television program. and that came across because I had COVID this past January 1st, and I was just channel surfing, sick, not feeling well. And I saw an advertisement on the cable channels. You know how they have the town council meetings and stuff. So there was the announcement. So it said, "You want to make TV?" So I said, "Sure. Let me give him a call and leave a message." Well, the guy answered the phone. So he's like, "No, come on in." And he explained it all. And that has been another aspect of the business where we're sharing our message. So it's been radio, well, I shouldn't say radio, podcasting, television. There's been the Chamber of Commerce aspect that I'm still going to continue to do. There's a TEDx talk that I'm moving in that direction to do TEDx talks. So my claim to fame is speaking and coaching, if you will. So that's what I'm branching out to do, and it's something that I truly am passionate about. And Bob Proctor, my mentor, had said the worst way to make money, Paul, is to work. You know, and he's alluding to a couple things. One is having your money make money for you. The second thing is having multiple sources of income where you have passive income sources. And the third thing is to love what you do, Ben. And when you love what you do, you're not going to be, you know, tinkering around in a bad headspace generally when you love what you do. So that it took me a while. You know, that those 2 years was probably the longest 2 years of my life. You know, being depressed, clinically depressed, passively suicidal. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, and just, you know, that's how I operate. And it was a tough way to be, you know, when I was in that. But I truly believe, Ben, that God knew exactly what was going to happen, right? Of course he did. And he wanted me to understand through my suffering how to get better. And some people experience that through a death, a job loss, an illness, a number of things. There is grace in suffering. And if you believe that, whether no one else does, it doesn't matter. And that's what's going to make you, quote unquote, successful. You know?
Well, I want to say thank you for your vulnerability. And I also do believe that there is grace in suffering. And it's not something that you want, right? Like,
Right.
so,
No, of course not.
so I, you know, and people that watch our content know very well, you know, about me losing my parents and all of that stuff that's happened. But yeah, definitely grace. You know, there is grace in suffering, and there is, it's you know, I find great power in vulnerability. And I don't mean power like control. I mean like
strength.
It's and it's a way to help people. And not mostly, but yeah, mostly yourself, right? Like, so there's I think that sharing your story is one of the coolest things that anybody can do. We have a comment here because we are live. We have a comment from Kelly Vacatora that says,
Kelly,
you were number one. We love you.
Yeah, she's a good liar. Kelly is absolutely wonderful. And Kelly's a fantastic school teacher, and she works about 700 jobs, and then she runs Duns Corners Pizza as well. So, you know, that's proof to the pudding that you just mentioned, Ben, about you have to do the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to do the work.
Yeah. By the way, Kelly, we'll stop in. We'll do a lunch bunch featuring Duns Corners. We love Vox.
Awesome. Yes.
Amen. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the wonderful people.
Yeah.
So, that makes the food taste better, by the way.
Oh,
when
it
the
does.
people are nice.
Oh,
the
yeah.
food tastes better.
Oh, for sure. For sure. No.
You know.
I've never gotten a sandwich from a jerk and been like, oh, this is delicious though.
I love it. I love it.
You're so mean, but you're so talented.
Yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned that you're doing well with your online coaching and your Zoom sessions and stuff. When did that start for you?
I guess the turnaround, you know, there's there's always been a turning point, so to speak. There wasn't one epiphany, if you will, Ben. There's never just one epiphany. There's maybe 100 epiphanies. And if I had to answer your question directly, when did it start? It really started when I put my foot forward in 2020, just before COVID, actually, to get rolling and get working, and then keeping investing in myself, even when the finances weren't there.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend the money to invest in myself. And I said, I hope I'm doing the right thing, but I put my faith in my mentor, because he said to me, listen, I know you're struggling with this, but you don't have to believe the process. Just believe me. And if you believe me, I will take you where you need to go. That's all I needed. That's all I needed, is that reassurance to say, I got you. Right. And I think that's what makes my faith so strong, because God has me. Even though we're going to fall at times and we're going to get banged around and it's going to hurt.
Yep.
He's going to provide,
Yep.
So that's what it is. And it's funny, because some people online say to me that, oh, geez, you're getting religious. I said, listen, my faith teaches me to love not only my faith, but everybody else's faith, even if they don't believe in God. And that's how I roll. That's how I am. That's my Catholic faith to a T. And most people think opposite of that. And that's not how I've been taught. I've been taught to love whoever it is.
Yeah. Well, pretty sure love thy neighbor is like one of the top 3, whatever. So anyway,
yeah, that's right up there. For sure.
That's like, I'm pretty sure it's definitely one of the top 10. It's definitely one of the 10.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
Is it 2? I think it's number 2, right?
Well, the first one is to love your God with all your heart, with all your might.
Yeah.
And then the second one is not to have any false gods.
Right.
So
third.
And then the third one is to keep holy the Sabbath.
Is it?
And then it's to honor thy father and mother. But understand, just because it's not a direct quote, thou shalt not kill, also means the words that come out of my mouth to people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. Lying is not listed in the 10 Commandments, but that's also, factored in there.
Right.
So
I'm just curious which one it is.
Pull up the 10 Commandments.
Yeah. So now I'm looking. Father, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not.
But Jesus had said, a number of times, love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah. I don't think it's.
And the golden rule, do unto others as they would have, you would have them do unto you. All these things. But again, how many times do I fall short of these 10 Commandments alone? All day long, right?
All the time.
But our intent isn't to be that way, and that's what you hope for most people.
And that's and whether you're for people that aren't religious and whatnot, could you do me a favor and just tilt that just turn that camera just slightly back this way, right there. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
It's got a little drift on it today.
Well, I think I'm banging the table. Maybe I'm an animated guy.
That might be it.
I'm a very animated guy.
That might be it. So, but whether you're religion.
Yeah, I went off the rails here. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But even moving away from religion, right? Whatever our ideals are. Whatever our goals are, whatever our thoughts are, whatever our dreams are, whatever our aspirations are for ourselves, we fall short of those things. Whether it is a moral compass that you live by because of your belief system and religion that you were brought up with, whether it is a belief system that was instilled in you by your parents that is just morals that doesn't have anything to do with religion or a sort of a classic set of beliefs, whatever it is, right? Or whether it's just, a mantra that you get up and you try to do and you meditate and you think about the mantra and you're into transcendental meditation and all of that stuff. You're going to fall short, right?
Right.
Like no one lives up to their ideals every day.
Right.
And how you react / respond to that situation of falling short of your ideals. That's those little gray areas in life. That's where it is. That's where life happens.
Yeah.
In the gray
Yeah,
areas.
that's exactly right. It's the dash in between the years that you lived, right?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think what, as long as you don't get into a perfectionist attitude, I'll do it when this is done and that's done. Do it now. And that was something that I struggled with a little bit too, Ben, was I said, okay, when it's all perfect and that's set, then it's ready to go, then I'll do it. No, nothing's going to be perfect, like you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to fall short, but understand that you're aiming to do better. And as time goes on,
Yep,
you're going to surpass those.
Yep.
Those expectations and those goals.
At
least you hope you do.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I always perfect is the enemy of good, right? Like, if you want everything to be perfect, you're never going to do it. There's never a right time to quit your job and start your dream. There's never a right time to start a family. There's never a right time to get married. There's never a right time to end a relationship that you know you should be, but you're struggling to because you really want to stay in it. There's never a perfect time, right?
No, exactly.
But there are choices that we make, and perfectionism is another word for procrastination, and that's all it is.
I'd buy that.
One of the things that I always was afraid of growing up, and this is a very interesting thing because I've never known where exactly I fall on this. I in like 5th grade started saying that I was afraid of failure, right? That I was afraid of trying and failing and what. So like I was a horrible student. I don't know who's going to see this and I'm sorry. I'm in charge of interns and stuff now. Like whatever. I was a horrible student in school.
Right.
I did not do homework from 5th grade to graduating high school.
Oh, come on.
No, if I did homework, it was in that class 5 minutes before it started scribbling something down.
Huh.
Never did homework. Not once in my entire life did I actually go home and do the assignment that I had.
Okay.
Not once ever, right?
Right.
Didn't bring my books to class. Or didn't take a backpack. I carry a backpack. It's right there on the couch. I have like 5 backpacks now. When I was in high school, I would take my book. I'd put some sort of a mark on it so that I knew what one it was.
Right.
And on my way out the door of the class, I'd put it in the little like bookshelf somewhere in the back of the class. And then I'd go grab it the next day so that I had it in class and I wouldn't have to go back to my locker or do anything. Just left my book in class, right? Didn't do homework, didn't do that stuff, paid attention in class, right? And I was a sponge in class. And so I also never read a book that was assigned to me ever. Not once. Not once did I ever read a book that was assigned to me in class.
To that, actually. Yeah.
But I would understand from the conversation in class what everything was about, and I'd ace the test.
Ace the test?
Yeah. Like
wow.
The worst that if everything was explained in class, or there was a discussion, and I could join in on the discussion as if I read the book. And my teachers knew, and they all got so mad at me.
Right.
And a lot of them were like, first of all, like if you don't turn in your homework, some of them I scribbled stuff down like math and whatever, but some of them were like, if you don't do your homework, you start out with an 80 you start out with a B as the lowest, as the highest you can get is a B minus. Right. And I was like, okay,
I'm good with that.
Fine. And they were like, no, you can't. And I was like, no, I can. Like, if you're saying that, like, they were like, you're not going to go to college. I was like, I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to go to college. My parents can't afford college. I can't afford college. It seems like a ripoff. I'm not going to college.
Yeah.
Right. And I would get, for the most part, especially in like classes where it was more thinking,
Yeah.
get like a 78 for the year.
Okay. It's
When
respectable.
like the highest I could get was an 80.
Would you change anything looking
now?
back? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You would.
Oh, I would not be that person at all.
Okay. Well, that's
But-
refreshing to hear then.
Yeah. But that being said, like I said that I was afraid of failure, and I was afraid that because what it was, right, is this kid's so smart. Everybody's frustrated because I'm super smart, but I won't do my homework. I'm super smart, but I won't apply myself.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's like that is but that fear of failure becomes a perfectionism. It becomes the reverse of the coin of perfectionism, right? Like, oh, if I can't be perfect, I'm not going to try. Like, I'm not going to try because then I'm going to,
Right.
right? So what I'm doing is I'm saying I'm good on my potential. I like,
Yeah. You got
that
complacent, basically. Really.
I like that you guys don't know if I'm the smartest kid in the school who doesn't apply themselves or an average student. You don't know. You just assume because of my potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that never stopped.
Yeah. You said from 5th grade through high school.
No, I mean, but I still wonder sometimes if it stops, if it stopped now, right? Because
What specifically are you referring to stopping?
like and I say this because of the perfectionism thing, right? The perfectionism is another form of procrastination. This fear of failure that I attested to in 5th grade, right? Which coincidentally, the spring before I started 5th grade, my sister died, my only sibling. So,
oh my goodness,
it was like this Arrested Development thing, right? Of like, I don't have to try, and I can sort of stay in this middle ground, and everybody's gonna think I'm great,
right?
But I don't have to prove that I'm great. I just have to find this niche,
Yeah,
that then people will not know if I'm really great or if I,
yeah.
And I'm like, I sort of still feel like that sometimes, because like the stuff that we do is fantastic, and in my head I'm like, I think I could make it 100 times better.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's scary.
Well,
because like we're doing
that's
pretty
scary
good.
though. That's scary good. You know what I mean? Because it's not that you're going to be a perfectionist. It's
Right.
kind of like playing around a golf. I don't golf any longer, but it's like playing around a golf. You say, oh, if I only sunk that putt, if I only made that, you know what I mean? You could always have done better.
Yep.
You know, no matter how well you've played, you
Yep.
know? And I always make that comparison because I used to live it in that respect.
But the things that I have ever actually applied myself in, and I think that this is where it goes back to thoughts become things, and you have to put in the work.
Mhm.
Right? Those are two things that are just true. What I was
You have them ingrained, is what you're saying.
No. I'm not saying that I have them ingrained.
Well,
I'm
it
saying
is
that they're,
because you're saying it's in your mindset.
well, yes, but I'm saying also
Listen,
that
you do them all the time, but
no, right. I'm saying that those things are. I'm saying that I believe that thoughts become things, and the work is the way.
right. That's factual stuff.
I think that
right.
those are just factual
Yes.
things, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not a pie in the sky type
right,
theory.
right.
Yes, I'm with you.
So that being said, I'm like, everything good with the sound?
My left ear is I was getting pinched by
okay.
the headphones. That's all.
All right, cool. So anyway, my thought on that is like I thought that perfectionism or fear of failure being the same side of the two sides of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is true. And I think that your mindset and the work that you put in really is well over 50% of the equation.
Oh, definitely.
Because I don't want to say that it's like 99% of the equation, because there are a ton of other factors for everybody. For you can't, but I think that it is over 50% of the equation, because when I have found those moments where I really wanted something, or I needed to do something, or I had to apply myself, or whatever it is. And by the way, maybe all of what I just said is just undiagnosed ADHD. There's a real possibility of that.
Well, yes,
but
there's some truth to it.
But there's truth
for you. You know what I'm saying, Ben?
Whether it's ADHD or not, that's how I roll, right? So my thought process here is, like, when I was afraid of success of any kind for a really long time.
Do
right?
you know why?
From change.
Okay.
Change. I think that it was change. I think that my fear of success was a fear of change. And I think that it really started when I was 9 years old. Because when you succeed at something, you have to change what you do. You have to change your non-negotiables. You have to change what you do. If I went to college, I'd have to leave my parents. I didn't want to leave my parents. I wanted to take care of my parents, right? I did go to college. I left. I went to New York City. My dad had a stroke shortly before I left. I came home to take care of my parents. 6 months in New York, I was homesick. My grandmother was in her 90s. I didn't want to leave her. My dad had just had a stroke. My mom was dealing with some disabilities. Like, I wanted to come home and take care of them, and I was their only kid. So not succeeding allowed me to stay safe in that bubble, and allowed me to be 9 years old until I was 32 years old.
Yeah.
And so I came home. So, like, again, it was, hey, Ben got a scholarship to go with his best friend to New York City. They started a theater company 2 years ago. How cool is that? They're going to take on the world, right? And I was like, no, wait. Because that means I have to stay gone, and I have to do these things, and I have to put all of this stuff on myself. That's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah, living up to that.
Yeah, right? Living up to that. And I didn't want to do it. Yeah. So then I come home. We do whatever, right? We do the stuff that we do. Start a children's theater, do all of the things. I take care of my parents. Like, not only is it something that I actually had to do, but also a crutch until 2020. And right before COVID, they both got sick. They both ended up in the nursing home. Going into the end of 2019, I knew that my dad was retiring at the end of 2019. And I knew that they needed me to fully support them now, because he was walking on 2 canes at a mill. It was awful, but that's what he wanted to do. He never wanted to retire, and he only lived 9 months after he retired. So I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta work, right? At the beginning of 2020,
right?
I gotta, like, put everything, like, do I have all of these special qualities that everybody said that I did since I was in 5th grade and was the smart kid that didn't do anything? Let's see. Let's put it to the test, right? I've been doing this stuff my whole life. Let's see if I'm good at it. And then the pandemic hit. And everybody, 4 years ago this week, everybody went into shutdown, and everybody needed the guy who knew how to just make stuff happen with no money and no time and no prep and just whatever random tools that they could throw together. And all of a sudden, my phone was ringing. We were doing shows with the governor. We were doing shows with celebrities. We were doing shows with the town council. We were putting churches online for places. We were helping small businesses get grants. All of these things happened like in a nanosecond 4 years ago this week. And it was because I was out of excuses. I didn't have to take care of my parents. My parents were stuck in a nursing home. And all of a sudden, that fear of success and that fear of failure, which was the same side,
Right.
the perfectionism and the procrastination, they were the same side of a coin, or they were the same coin.
Yeah.
Two different sides of the same coin. All of a sudden, I didn't have that anymore.
Mm.
And the opportunities were insane, but it was because I stepped up and I did the work and I stepped into it.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
why those opportunities became insane, because I stepped up and took the ball.
Yeah.
And I started, instead of having these dreams that I've had my entire life, I started doing the work to put in the work to make those dreams happen.
Yeah.
The same
I
thing.
love these stories, by the way. This is, you know
Thank
what I mean?
you.
It's awesome.
The same thing happened with relationships. I, for many reasons, was afraid. And I,
You mean intimate relationships?
yeah, like romantic relationships. I was afraid of letting anybody actually get that close to me for many, many years, and for all of the reasons that it would be. And when I one day decided I wasn't afraid of it anymore, like that, like it, and I got lucky,
Right.
and she's the best, and like, I'm so grateful for that. But all of these things happened when my mindset and when my thoughts and my actions were in the same direction.
Yeah. That's your mindset. Sure.
Yeah. That was, my thoughts and my actions had to be in the same direction. And then things opened up.
Yeah. You know, what does that tell you? You know, it tells you that anything else that you want to achieve or you desire is attainable, Ben. It truly is, you know. And again, that's, you know, we can connect the dots looking back, as Steve Jobs so well eloquently said. You know, we can't connect them moving forward because we don't know what's happening in the future, so to speak. But we create the future by doing what we do now in the present, you know. So it's been great. This has been this has been nice. This has been pretty riveting as far as, you know, having an engaging dialogue here. We even had some
comments,
audience correspondence.
We have a comment here from Bob. Hey, Bob, every experience is a learning experience. I absolutely agree.
To that, Bob.
Bob Hildberg.
Yeah. It's true though. And it could be a frustrating experience at Walmart or something. It could be something so benign, but everything can be a learning experience, you know. And if we can become aware, awareness is the key, because, you know, we have researchers say anywhere from 60 to 90 thoughts a day, and 80% of them, they surmise, are negative.
60 to 90 thoughts. It's got to be higher than that.
Well, but regardless, whatever it is, and they're saying 80% of them are negative, and 90% of them we have again the next day. You know what I mean? They're repetitive.
Yep.
So we're in the same vicious circle, if you will, or spiraling up, depending on the way we're thinking. You know, so it's been
60,000 thoughts per day.
That's what I said. 60 to 90,000.
I didn't hear you say 1,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 60 to 90,000 thoughts per day. Yeah. So in between there, that's the big, you know, difference, you know, but anywhere from 60 to 90,000, you know, and that's just, you know, what the researchers have come up with. And, you know, so just to think, trying to control your thinking, it's almost impossible, so to speak. But once you become aware of your feelings tell you what you've been thinking.
Yep.
You know, so that's what that is.
And there are so many things that are out of our control, right? There are so many things that are out of our control that we can't, and I think that we focus a lot on them, and some of them are truly awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, I understand that you and I are having this conversation from somewhat very privileged positions of race,
Yeah, I would say that.
of race, of gender, of sexuality, of
we're not worrying
of
about
being-
dying,
we're
leaving
not,
this building.
Yeah. Where the our ages, our socioeconomic background, the country that we live in, right? Like there are things but that's where we are.
Mhm.
And where you are, like there are things that you can control and things that you can't control. And I hope and will do whatever I can to help the people that are struggling with the things that they can't control very similarly to whatever the case may be. But what we're talking about right now is the things that you can control, and there are people
That's the only thing you should be talking about.
Right. There are people that have it much tougher than
Go
I
to Haiti.
ever will.
Go to Haiti for 3 weeks.
Than I ever will.
And
that are happier than I will ever be. And that is it's just real. Like what you think about it or not, it's just real. And so, I acknowledge those things, and I'm grateful for my lot in life. And there are things that I can't control, and there are things that I can control. And when I focus on the things that I can control, I can make life better for myself, the people around me, and others.
Yeah. And you mentioned something in your diatribe, so to speak, that gratitude.
Yeah.
Every day I write on a piece on my journal, 1 through 10, things that I'm grateful for. And those are things that have happened, are happening, and are going to happen in the future. That's another thing. So being grateful puts you in a whole different frame of mind. You can't be miserable and grateful at the same time.
Absolutely.
So it's
right.
It's a challenge.
All right, Paul, are you ready for the hot seat?
Oh, hot seat. Wow.
Hot seat. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We only have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
And it is time to ask you, you've lived in Westerly the majority of your life, right?
Oh, my whole life.
Okay. So I got to ask you some questions.
Oh boy.
Favorite place to get a cup of coffee?
What's funny is I'm not a coffee drinker per se, but I have relationships with a number of, proprietors that own, whether it be Honeydew, Everett, or it be Fresh Cup, and it's new known as Jamie.
Jamie, yep.
Or Junk and Java.
Yep.
You have, was it George Tattersall's wife?
Yep.
So, I kind of spread it around. And I've also have a friend that owns some of the Dunkin' Donuts franchises too. So yep. I have to plead the fifth on that because I really don't drink coffee. So I couldn't be valid. Let's put it that way.
All right. Pizza.
That's another tough one because we just talked about Duns Corners Pizza.
Yep.
To me, that's Vacatura's pizza. That's the home run for me. But I can't say that any pizza place I love it all. I don't think if there's really not a bad pizza place. We have about 750 of them in Westerly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to go with my Vacatura friends.
All right. I like it. Best burger in town.
Wow. When I say town, I say community because Carolyn O'Brien and Sean O'Brien from CC O'Brien's, that was always a good burger. But it's right up there with Pooch's.
Okay.
Pooch's,
I haven't had a burger from Pooch's.
Maria Allen and Jeff Pucci and the brothers and sisters. Why am I Pooch's Poorhouse.
Yeah.
Pooch's Poorhouse there on High Street. That's a good burger. And they have good accompaniments as well. So that's good. Believe it or not, do you remember Dylan's?
Yeah.
Dylan's used to have a good burger, but that's in the past.
Yes.
It's now Amigos.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep. I loved the I mean I was very fond of the Tavern turkey burger at 84,
Oh
which
yeah,
is now
yeah,
Surf Cantina,
yeah.
which has an amazing smash burger.
Mhm.
So, and you can get it on a quesadilla. It's called the Smashadilla.
Oh really? See
Yeah,
that?
it's
Oh,
awesome.
We're plugging some of our businesses,
well,
which is nice.
I will point out that Surf Cantina is a client, but so I just want to be clear they are. But I mean, there's a lot of Evie's is a fantastic Evie's. Is it Evie's?
Evelyn, I think
Okay.
is the grandmother or whatever it was. Olivia Copo's grandmother or something.
Someone call me Evie's. You let me know.
Whatever. It's potato. Ben, we're splitting hairs. I'm messing up the hot seat. I apologize.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. All right. Favorite. So this show is brought to you. The Lunch Bunch is brought to you by XE Media Design Online Ordering.
Okay.
If you have I'm just talking to the camera.
Okay. I don't know if I had to move it for you.
No, you're fine. If you own a restaurant in town and you're looking for a fast, easy, and simple online ordering system that does not take a percentage of your sales, call Jay at XC Media Online Ordering, and you can hear success stories from places in town like Bogues Alley and Cleats that absolutely love it. I think Midway Pizza as well.
That's refreshing to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Favorite sit-down dining restaurant?
Wow. I'll tell you this, and again, I almost feel guilty when I spit something out because I was in the insurance business. I catered to a lot of different businesses in town, but Tracy from Gaetano's used to be Guy from Gaetano's prior to that, Guy Gencarella, no relation, spelled a little different. My wife and I enjoy Gaetano's. Tracy, really takes care of us there, and it's right in Franklin Street behind the subway plaza there. That's been a go-to for us. But even Casa de Luce, which is it's not an extravagant dining room, has been a great atmosphere for us. So we Vitrano's.
The place, the people at
Timark
are doing a great job with all of their restaurants.
And I think everybody is, even Brazen Hen, as far as I know, it's been, I haven't been going out as much, but it's refreshing to see, specifically in downtown. My dad being a proprietor, he's going to his 60th year at Toscano's Men's Shop. He's owned it since 1983, but there were tumbleweeds going down the street in the 80s. You know what I mean? There was nothing there. In the 70s and the 60s, you had China Village and United Theater with lines that would blend into each other. You know what I mean? People were dressing up in a suit to go to China Village. It was crazy, but it's refreshing to see what our downtown has become now. So. Amen to that. And again, I'll put a plug into Chuck Royce. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not the only one, but you know what I mean? He's certainly a big cog in the wheel. And it's refreshing to see. And my dad says the same thing. He's like, geez, I've gone from, the slums of the city to Rodeo Drive, you know what I mean? In a matter of, 10 years, so to speak.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's impressive the renaissance that has been downtown Westerly in the last 10-15 years. When it was 84 Dillon's Perks, and then transforming into Twisted Vine was there for a while.
Yeah, of course. That's the cafe.
Of course, the Malted Barley, which I will always be sad about.
Yeah. No, I know. Right.
But at least you can go to Providence or Florida, I believe, and get the Malted Barley if you miss their pretzels. But and I've heard nothing but amazing things about Pooch's.
It really is good. My wife and I have been there a few times, and it's and I'll tell you another thing.
High Hope next door as well. People,
I haven't been there yet, but
I've been to High Hope. It was delicious. But
the philanthropy, from Pooch's, hosting the teams, basketball, football, the girls basketball, all that, cheerleaders. My daughter's a senior and she's a cheerleader. Unfortunately, she was sick when they had their dinner at Pooch's, but the point is they're very reaching out to the community. That says a lot too, Ben. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. That's worth its weight in gold too.
Also, yeah, and they streamed everything. I also want to thank the Thirsty Beaver in Dunn's Corners.
We've been there a few
which
times.
has been they stepped up in the fall when we really needed some help to make all of the sports happen. They really stepped up in the fall with the sponsorship.
Yes.
To become the official.
And you could watch it there too, couldn't you? Yeah.
Every sport. So there are going to be, I haven't even announced this yet. There are 46 home games for the spring.
Oh my! For the spring.
With
baseball and lacrosse.
Baseball, softball, boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, and boys volleyball.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's great.
It is our goal to bring you every single one of those games.
Really?
Every single one of those home games.
You're going to have to get another station.
I just want to clarify. There are 9 days where there are double headers.
Yeah, crossovers too.
Yeah, crossovers. Not necessarily double headers, but like one game starts at 5, one game starts at 6:30 across town. We can't physically do that.
Yeah, right.
But we're working on it right now to film the games that we can't be at and then air them immediately.
I got you. I see what you're saying. So at least they'll have it.
So like if baseball's at 4 and lacrosse is at 5,
right?
We may do baseball because
baseball live, and then lacrosse
we may do
would
baseball.
Be taped.
We may do baseball live with a camera at lacrosse, recording it so that we can then take that and then Greg and I will watch it immediately afterwards and call the game as if we were there live.
Oh wow! That is good then. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be it'll have Greg.
Okay, so they have commentators and everything. Yeah,
it'll have commentators. It'll have everything. It's just that.
Nice. I was on cutting edge announcements here. This is great.
Yeah, we can't physically unless someone wants to step up and be like a $15,000 donor, we can't do all of them as live streams. But
this gets back into our conversation though. You do what you can.
Yeah, it would take an exorbitant amount of money to make these all live streams and teams and networks and all of that stuff,
which is a lot more sponsors.
It's a lot more sponsors and a lot more work and a lot more legwork and all of that stuff. And there's I'm sure that some of these teams are going to make the playoffs. Boys lacrosse won the state championship last year. Baseball won the championship a couple years ago. Girls lacrosse has their eyes on the state championship. Softball's been doing very well. So I'm sure that there will be more than 50 games total at home this spring, which is insane.
And for working it. Yes.
Yeah. So we want to bring all of them to you. And for the games that our goal right now, there are 2 days where there are triple headers.
Oh gosh.
There are 2 days where there are some things happening three things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do all of them.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how yet, but I got a couple weeks, so I'll figure it out.
So let me just reiterate that it's girls softball, boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, and boys volleyball. Okay, so that's the five teams. Okay, wow, yeah. So easily that would be,
Also, shout out to Juliana Ianella, who is a cheerleader with your daughter.
Okay.
And she is our right now she's a 321 Westerly intern, and she's going to be
nice, Juliana. She knows Eliza then, my daughter.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
So all right. Well, I was gonna you kind of spoiled it, but I was gonna ask you what your favorite place to get men's clothing in town was.
I'll tell you right now, I probably saved $30,000 in those 25 years by going to see my dad.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, can I give you some money? He's like, don't worry, I'll put it on your bill. Yeah. Well, I haven't got that bill yet. And he's going to be 80 this April, still banging it out at the store.
Well,
so
we absolutely love your dad.
Yeah.
And he hooked me up for junior prom, for senior prom, for other people's dances, for
he enjoys it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know anybody he's never given a discount to. I'm sure there's a few, but he's like, don't worry about it. I'm in business to make friends, not money. jokingly he says that, but that's exactly what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's making a lot of friends.
He and I share that philosophy,
Yeah.
although I'm not sure that my business partners necessarily love
right.
it. But
Yeah.
no, absolutely. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that he
Yeah.
gave me a discount the first time I went in there because I knew the DeAngelis's.
Right. Well, with the sure, and with the tuxes, it's tough because he's got a fixed cost on that. But I'm talking about the retail aspect of it.
Yeah,
but the tuxedos has been
ties, buying all of that. Yeah,
So, but yeah, my dad has outfitted me. At least I was a walking advertisement for him. So, I remember one time I bought slacks at TJ Maxx, and my mom's like, "Why would you do that?" And I said, well, Mom, I'm probably saving Dad money by getting them there. You know what I mean? Not have to take them off the rack at the shelf. But I always would joke with people. They said, oh, yeah, nice shoot. Where'd you get it? I said, it's going back on the rack tomorrow, half price. So if you want to stop in, you can slip into a 42. We'll be all set.
There you go.
So,
all right. Where can people find you?
Yeah. The social media outlets, Facebook, there is YouTube. I got a YouTube channel, at Paul Gencarella, and my LinkedIn is my primaries. And then I also have Instagram and every other apparatus going. So that's generally where I'm, networking out of these days. And you have to, you have to be, part of some, but not all.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, Paul.
Thanks for having me, Ben. Truly, it really has been, a joy and a delight, and it was nice to talk with you.
Absolutely.
On a personal level.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors for the winter and spring season. We do still have slots left open at our lowest level, at least for spring sponsors. But we want to say thank you to Roof Right Roofing, Remy Cycle, Lathrop Insurance, Valenti Family of Dealerships, The Thirsty Beaver in Dunn's Corners, Rios Barber Shop, Ed French & Sons Paving, XC Media Design Online Ordering, Kiefer's Martial Arts, Precision Fitness in downtown Westerly, Wireless Zone at 224 Post Road in Dunn's Corners. Go see Patrick. Tell them that Ben sent you. DNV Mechanical and John Fizarro from Coldwell Banker Coastal Homes. Nice. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have another comment here. Great, insightful show once again. Thanks, Bob.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Paul. And this has been The Lunch Bunch.
Nice.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
I'm Michael Kiefer. I'm the owner of Kiefer's Martial Arts here in Westerly. We're here to help people. So with kids, they're kicking and punching and blocking, and they're learning self-defense, and they're getting a workout. Martial arts is physical, but we're also trying to embed those character development lessons into their classes as well. Perseverance and Donald Spirit. We get many referrals for kids that maybe have ADD or ADHD, or kids that are maybe having some behavior problems. It's not to say I have a magic wand. Those are definitely things that we're going to work on with them. We always have a 2-week trial program. So if anybody's like, wow, that sounds pretty cool, but I just don't know if my kid is gonna like it, and I don't want to be locked in, then you do the 2-week trial. I'm going to give you a uniform, a private lesson, and you can come to classes for 2 weeks. So for people that are unsure, that's a great way to go about it.
Hot summers and cold winters can be unbearable, but DNV Mechanical has the solution for you. As a Mitsubishi Diamond dealer, we provide energy-efficient and personalized comfort solutions for your home. Our experienced technicians will install your new system quickly and efficiently, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Don't suffer through another season of discomfort. Contact DNV Mechanical today for a personalized ductless mini-split installation that fits your lifestyle. DNV Mechanical, your comfort is our top priority.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
The Thirsty Beaver Hometown Pub and Grub in Dunn's Corners is your ultimate destination for refreshing drinks, delectable dishes, and memorable moments with family and friends. Enjoy live music, DJ trivia every Wednesday night, and we're now the official spot to come watch and root for your favorite Westerly High School sports teams. The Thirsty Beaver, located at 265 Post Road, Spindrift Village, Westerly.